different from the other video because they were the exact same thing.
I'm wearing the same thing. I don't care anymore.
That's the cool thing of being inconspicuous. I'm always in conceal.
Nice. I like it.
That was probably the dumbest cold opening. If someone has a better one, they could say it.
Nope. It was better if you're watching the video for people listen to the podcast.
Mm-hmm. That was great.
Giacomo held up a 3D printed knife that Loomis gave him.
Yeah.
You know, he's a worm blade operative sitting here. Sunglasses. Well, welcome. What is the best food in the world? We're going to talk a lot about world's best stuff in this one, at least for the year of 2024, right? Because we do have both of the ITC winners for Kill Team, one for Kill Team Hobby Track and one for the competitive scene. We'll focus a little bit more on Jimmy starting off, who won the competitive scene, just because Jimmy does have to go early. But then we're going to have a nice deep dive hobby conversation with Garret Rayner, who won. We'll explain how we first met Garret and his beautiful display. It's quite fantastic. But first, world's best food, right? So we can piss off even more people. For me, pizza. Ooh. Let's go. Jimmy?
Okay, I got a contender, and it's going to be hard to argue with it. That vending machine cake at the Rio.
Oh.
Yo,
wait, you touched
that was some good cake.
It's so good.
I don't know what's going on in it.
Based on the stats that I've seen, there's a 1 in 3 chance it might get you sick and almost kill you. Based on a study performed by John Reese himself. And I think if they up that to 1 in 5 or 8 out of 10, I'd still eat that cake at the Rio. It is some good, and it's vending machine cake. Oh man, you put cake that good in a vending machine, I'm in. Like, it's good cake.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I went with simple pizza. I mean, we're still talking about triangles. How about you, G?
Dang, I don't want to just say pizza because that is honestly like if 9 out of 10 times I'll probably eat pizza and then have a burger from In-N-Out, you know? So, I'm gonna say the In-N-Out burger. I'm not close enough to Prime, and In-N-Out's more common in SoCal, so like, you know.
The Prime burger smacks though, bro. I just had it.
It's so good. I'm so jealous.
Yeah. Yeah. Jimmy's close to that one. How about you, Garret?
Yeah. All right. There's a breakfast cereal called O's, like OH exclamation mark S.
Like Trader Joe O's?
No. It's different. It's I think Quaker makes it. O's. I don't know why. But that hit me early, and it stuck with me forever. Freaking love O's. Yeah.
Not even like Cheerios, just O's.
No. It's they're way more than Cheerios. It's like if Cap'n Crunch and Honey Bunches of Oats had a baby. That's O's.
Oh, I love Honey Bunches of Oats.
They're
Cereal,
actually
man.
real good. They're real
breakfast, man.
I'm gonna look at.
I'm not a breakfast person myself, but I'm glad we have one on the podcast to be wholly representative of all the community. Burger man, a cake man, a breakfast man, and a pizza man.
Hell yeah!
So,
also, like, is that really cake, Jimmy? Is that really cake?
No, it's not cake. It's a slice of heaven. That's what it is. Like it's. But here's the thing. If you're not from Canada, you won't get it. I'm sorry, Garret. Us Canadians, we have a refined palate. And we're big fans of vending machine cake. All of us Canadians.
He's the most American Canadian I've ever met.
He is the most American Canadian I've ever met.
Side fun fact, I enjoyed sharing Canada trivia with my opponents at the tournament. I know nothing about Canada, but I get talking
you just make stuff up?
I just made stuff up the whole time. And I was like, in Canada, we have this expression, and I just make up some nonsense. Like, kick them once in the shoe. That's what we say in Canada. Like, like... Yeah.
Did you just make up like things about geese? Like, well, my favorite pastime is watching geese fly overhead while I'm making a geese triangle on the kill team board, destroying my opponents. And that's how I teach my son how to be an epic monster. That's why he's number 8 in the world,
You see, Dakotah, I feel like you don't even know me at all because you approach this from a place of reason. And be like, oh, Canadian geese. This would be a thing of no. I went as far like I would bring up Cajun facts. Like, Cajun food. That's the number one food in Canada. Like 100% tried to make sure there was no possible chance that it was in any ways, in some realm, even plausibly true. It was just all, yeah. And then like, I just said it with a really straight face and like confidently. And I'm sure there's some people being like, man, Canadians love Cajun food. Like, yeah, it's our favorite food.
For the only Canadian fact that I know, right, is the fact that Vancouver has like the cheapest sushi on earth. Really? That might not be true. Yeah. I've never been to Japan, but like anywhere I've been, they have the cheapest sushi.
You see, I just learned
$2 rolls.
I just learned that Vancouver's in Canada. I didn't even know that. I know nothing about Canada.
They have syrup.
Hoser.
Yeah. So I made up province names. It was fun. But yeah, I in no ways tried to make any of my information relatable or educational or even.
Did you make up like French names? Like, well, there's this province, you know?
See, there you go again. You know? No, French is actually a thing in Canada. So no, like if anything, they'd be like German sounding names. Like I'm going to lean into the ludicrousness of all of it. But yeah, it was fun. I told people that Canada loves me. That is probably true because
that's probably true.
Like, why would they not? Right? Like I'm their people now. I'm their representative. I win this for Canada, FYI. All American players love that. But yeah, no, it was just fun to lean into the ludicrous nature of all of it. So yeah, no, there was no realm of anything close to reality in anything I said, but it was fun. So
that's fair. That's fair. Garrett, do you know any Canadian absurd facts?
Put me on the spot there, man. No. Oh,
fair.
You know what?
All right.
You know what? Actually, I got one.
You could have just made one up. You know,
I would have believed you.
Yeah, you could have said. I don't. They love
whatever Jimmy has that lets him do that. I don't have that thing.
That's fair.
But in sixth grade,
you do have O's.
I do have O's. I definitely do have O's. Did a book report on Canadian military might. Which wound up just being like a punchline for the next 2 or 3 years of my life. So
Canadian might. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's fair.
No.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Sorry, Canadians, for all of you listening. Hopefully, we made you laugh and we didn't make you hate us. But if we made you hate us, we're just Americans. We're stupid. Okay, moving on. Garrett. You won first place in hobby track for Kill Team ITC. There was somebody leading the pack, leading up to the event, who was there and didn't end up, competing. You know, that person was the tournament organizer. That was myself.
Indeed.
But you 100% won that fair and square, beautiful fucking display board. And Aiden also showed up, and you're able to defeat him in the end as well.
Yeah, I mean that was actually super fun. I had a blast, just like shooting it with Aiden over that whole weekend because we both knew kind of it was neck and neck what was going to happen. I had a low score coming in, so I think I had the edge, which like wound up
you real
working out.
cutthroat.
But yeah, man, I also do have to say like Dakotah. You had this in the bag if you could have actually competed at LVO. It was not even close. So thanks.
Hey, I'm here
for
just for inspiration, my friend. I'm not here to win.
Yeah, Garrett, you shouldn't feel too bad. He makes himself trophies all the time.
Yeah,
he makes the trophies.
This one was for waking up today.
Yeah.
Do I have one near me? I have a blank one.
Yeah.
He has
I wonder what that one's going to be.
He made himself a most handsome TO trophy. And just gave it to himself.
He earned that one though. He won that one. Yeah, he can't lose that. Mm-hmm. My house didn't catch on fire award.
Yeah, that one was a good one. We had some crazy.
He lost. Are you kidding? He's had like 2 house fires. What are you talking about, Giacomo?
Yeah, but like not from nature.
Yeah. The nature one was coming in hot.
Yeah, his house has been flooded twice, burned twice. He can't win any awards for his house being safe. Like that never happens.
Most
Jimmy,
reckless house.
Did I tell you that we had another water incident? We had
a gutter
ceiling open to dry it out.
You showed me. That's why I said flooded twice, not flooded once.
That would be the third time. But at least it didn't flood. Yeah, it was crazy.
There was still one I didn't know about. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. My house is special. It's in the special spectrum.
So if you're an insurance company and you're listening to this podcast, you know which house not to insure.
It's already not insured. We got it handled.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they already caught on. They knew. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So Jimmy, you won the Kill Team ITC with, I think, over 4,000 participants or more. Let me double check here. See if I can get the actual final number of how many players actually did. 3,504 active competitive players that competed in the Best Coast Pairings ITC tournament circuit, which has just been growing every year. And I'm very excited about the changes that we're going to be seeing coming for the ITC in the future. It's going to be great. Now, Jimmy, you at one point in time in September, we were speaking and you're like, yo, I didn't realize we were getting close to taking over the world, like getting first place. So you started trying to actively go for it. What was that realization like? And is it awesome that the West Coast now has just as many big tournaments as the East Coast, if not more, specifically because of us and Games Workshop running 2 on the West Coast as well? But what do you think, Jimmy?
Oh my, that was the most loaded question I may have ever, that was a lot to that, Dakotah.
Like routine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, speak away, my friend.
Okay. Wow. There's a lot to work with there. I like that. Now I'm going to go and make up facts like I do with Canada. So there I was writing my unicorn as, typical Jimmy Kelly day, just Jimmy
it's
Jelly.
A blue one.
Yeah, not purple. One. Sadly, I'm trying to upgrade to the purple unicorn, but I'll take what I can. So I did a lot of events last year, and I kind of burned out. But then I realized I've been doing okay, and I was in the top 10 for ITC, and I never went into the year with any kind of anticipation of trying to get number 1, which if I had, I could have done better because there was a lot of events I just did for fun because they were enjoyable. And I traveled, there was things I traveled for to have fun, which I'm glad I did because, the whole point is trying to have fun. But yeah, I remember talking to you. I was like, oh man, Kel team's doing pretty well. And I've done not terrible. I could, if I end up in the last couple of big tournaments, if I do well, I might actually end up near the top. And I realized okay, if there's a chance, I should try for it. And the whole time I was trying to have this expectation, it's not actually going to happen. There's so much chance or so much that can happen. There's just no way someone's going to end up beating me. So I tried not to hope for it, but I was okay, look, we can try for it though. And all that meant was when I went to Worlds, when I went to, LVO, try to take a team that's going to do well, which is something I don't like. I like to just take a team I enjoy, but I was I got to take the meta team. So I took Legionaries to Worlds, which I probably should have taken Warp Coven. Because I don't know if you know this, Warp Coven's pretty dang good right now. And then I took Warp Coven to LVO. And that honestly felt fairly bad. If I wasn't in contention, I wouldn't have taken that team. I think if you just play them right, it's just there's just almost nothing you can do. You just take away all the decisions from your opponent, and that didn't feel good. I didn't like that. I did put a lot of focus on making sure my matches were enjoyable as much as I could. And I had some great matches with some great people. And it was very surreal to be able to actually get that. So it's still sinking in. It's hard to process and deal with that. It was never something I ever got into the hobby to achieve that or to get that. And then some of the realizations, I guess before going on to that, the thing that actually hit harder that I enjoyed so much more, which I didn't think was going to happen. And I found out I got number 1, after LVO, there was after a little time sat, I was oh, wow, I got it. I secured number 1. That's amazing. Then a half hour or so later, someone looked into it and came and told me that Kel team got the number 1 team spot too. And Kel team was started by me and Kellen and my kids. So there was Kellen and the Kellys, and it was just my family and one friend. And it was something
everyone thinks Kellen is one of your children.
He basically is he's, I make him call me Poppy sometimes and he loves that. Boy. That's his favorite. Or sometimes, Daddy, we mix it up. If I pay for his stuff, Zaddy, we keep it fun. We keep it fun. He loves when I do that stuff. It's his favorite. but no, like Kel Team was just a thing I did with my kids. I started during COVID, and it was like, this is an excuse to travel and just have fun. And a couple years ago, one of the local SoCal players came up to me and he was like, hey, you know what? I think there's a lot of good players in SoCal. And if we team up, we could become like, I think we could make the number one competitive team. Like we can beat Spain. And he wanted me and Kellen to leave Kel Team and join a team he was going to make. And it was very flattering. I'm like, wow, this guy thinks I'm good enough to join the competitive team. And that's so cool. But I was like, I can't. Like, I started this with this was my kids. Like, this is my family thing. Like, I'm not doing this to win. I'm just like, this is an excuse for me to have fun with my kids. And at the time, especially, like, no one was going to let my kids on this competitive team. Like, it was like, I was like, I can only do stuff I'm going to do with my kids. That's the whole point. So I turned him down, and it just kind of happened. Like, now it's 2 years later, and our team with just me and my kids, and we have a couple friends, like, you know, people I really like, good friends, and they're also good players. And it's just insane how it just naturally came together, and we ended up beating some of these amazing teams with just insane killer players on them. And that winning team meant way more to me than the individual. And it's so fun. Like, we went on stage together, like my niece, my cousins, my kids, like my friends, like we went on stage and like took this award together. And that was so much fun. It's so amazing to be able to share that with my kids and my friends. So that meant so much more. And then to balance all that out, to put out my own, to throw cold water on my own ego. The reality we have to talk about with ITC is it does not matter near as much as anyone thinks. The reality is, like, the difference between me and anyone in the top 20, maybe even 40 players, there's any one day, you know, these are all great players. They're all amazing. And whoever wins the match is just the matchup, the dice. Like, these guys are playing all at a top level. The reason why one person gets number one is if you have the privilege to be able to travel and go to more tournaments. Mm-hmm. And if you are your geographic location, there's so many amazing players in different parts of Europe that aren't able to travel to big events, or South America. There's some amazing players in like Mexico and South America. And, you know, there's amazing players in Australia. And they're starting to really build up a scene. They'll have a couple tournaments, but they don't have enough to ever really compete and get number one. And I'm lucky. I'm able to travel a little bit more. And there's this new guy who's putting together tournaments and building the community, who's doing really amazing. And he's building up these huge tournaments, and he runs some of the biggest tournaments in the world. And he lives right near me. And the West Coast, like, it used to be, if you wanted to win, you had to be in like Spain or in East Coast, because that's where all the biggest tournaments were. And that was it. And now the West Coast has some big tournaments, huge growing community. The Pacific Northwest too, like the Cats and like Vox Cascadia, like all those guys, like in Pacific Northwest, they have an amazing community they're building up, ton of players. And I'm just
Vegas guys too. They're getting
bigger Vegas too. Guys. Yeah. I'm going to go up and hey, you are too. We're going to go hang out and just do a casual game with those. I love the Vegas community. They bring, like, I love all the communities. They all bring different energy, but it's amazing to see them like grow and build this community and like do exciting things. And I'm just in this lucky spot where I happened to have gotten good results at a couple of key tournaments. And I'm right in the heart of where everything's growing really well right now. Like between Vegas, you know, the Bay Area, SoCal, Pacific Northwest, like all these things that are so easy for me to get to, like they're growing and they're big tournaments. And there's a lot of great players around me that push me to get better. But like, if there's so many people, if they'd gone to all the same tournaments I did, there's no way I could have been first place. So there was a lot of luck involved. And there was a lot of providence of just like, hey, you know, Dakotah built up this huge community all around me, and I got to be part of it. So I appreciate you, man. Like you are making this community better. A lot of people are, but I'm talking to you, so I'm going to focus on you. But you're doing an amazing job of building up this community and building huge tournaments that are run really well. And it's just amazing to be part of it. So I'm just lucky that I get to be in the the heart of what's growing the most right now.
That's fair. I'm going to bake your humble pie real quick. In order to do well at these big events, you still got to be pretty damn good at the game, right? So, shout out to you for raising a great community around yourself and practicing hard in order to teach a good ethics around your team and consistently teaching your players, even if they stumble on occasion, right? Because sometimes competitive players, they let it get to them, right? And you've been able to take members of your team and coach them and make them better, right? I think that at a point in time, you and me had a conversation as well, right? Like everything for the competitive community is all about growing. It's all about learning. And I think that you've really taken it to heart and really started running and making great things in San Diego. How does it make you feel that Jeshua, your eldest, took 8th in ITC? How old is Jesh now?
He's 16.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
I'm so proud of him. And it's funny. I think he's discouraged about only getting 8th. But
he did amazing. Look who's above him. Look who's above him. Ace, who won it 2 years in a row. Shane from Command Point, right, who wins events consistently. Or Ryan, who's a legendary player in the United States. Carlos, who literally held number 1 in ITC for the entire year.
2 years in a row.
Entire year.
2 years in a row.
Until this year, John Reese, Chris Bakke, and you jumped over him at LVO, right? Like Jeshua has those players above him, even the players right below him, Bart Lewandowski, Javier Escu, who basically got second at Worlds, right? Tom Robinson, don't know who you are. I'm sure you're amazing. Pablo Berzal, George Amoir, and then you go all the way down to Mike Cortez, Liam, Leander, Brandon Bean, Dan Barton, who won Worlds. Like he is in the top 0.1 percentage, 0.3 percentage of all ITC players. Absolutely phenomenal.
No, I'm so proud of him. One thing that's been so fun to see, and I don't know if I've shared this with you yet. I probably have. I repeat myself a lot because I'm not very smart. But when I first started, and I'm playing, like I said, this was something to do with my kids. We try to get together, do practice games and stuff, and I bring my kids with me because I want them to play and do better. And we're meeting with people, and some people I'd be like, "Hey, can you get a game in with Jeshua?" And you can see on their face, they want to get a game with me or with Kellen or whatever else. And it was kind of like you're asking me to sit at the kids' table. But so many people did get these games in with Zeke and with Jesh. And because it's not just you can only learn so much from your dad. You have to play other people. You have to play a variety of people. And it's been so fun to watch now. People show up and so many times are hoping to get a game with Jesh. And that's so cool to see. Just to watch him go from the kid that people are like, I guess I'll get a game in with him, or it'll be a fun game, to be he's a monster and people are excited to get the games in, learn from him, get tips from him. And it's so awesome at tournaments. People come up to him. They're like, "Hey, I saw your video on Scouts and that's what helped me out." Or "I saw you give your commentary on this team and man, this really helped me get a start in them." They gave me a foothold to get started with that team. And it's so cool to see. And it's pretty amazing to watch him just go through this joy of he's meeting people for the first time that have watched some of his content or listened to some of his advice. And as a father, it's pretty amazing to see and makes me really happy. So watching him grow as a player and become just a fierce component in his own right, while also having impeccable sportsmanship. I've had games where people have been upset with me. I've had games where I felt bad and I have not had good sportsmanship that I had to own up and work past. And I've had to go through growing, and I'm not aware of a single game where a person has been upset with Jeshua or felt he was too sweaty or felt he was cutthroat. He got 8th place and he did it all while being as gracious and as good of an opponent as you can be. And it's, as a father, I'm very proud to see that whole journey.
Yeah. I'm upset with Jeshua for beating me.
Yeah.
He's only done it once.
Yeah, he said you were really sweaty and toxic that game too. So
I'm sure.
I was going to talk to you about it. I was like, Dakotah, why'd you throw the pieces?
I let a child beat me,
Yeah. He said you flipped the board after you lost. Is that true?
Yep, it is. It is 100% true.
Yeah.
Screw old scouts with their power weapons, okay?
Yeah. You said screw you and all of Canada, and you flipped the board and you stormed off.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I said screw you and your dad and Canada.
Yeah. Then he made a negative comment about maple syrup, and it was really offensive. Our people are very offended by that.
Well, Jimmy, I had a couple more questions. I'm looking at your ITC history, right? And I'm going to focus on the great stuff first. Obviously, your most points you scored at Las Vegas Open, taking second, right? Except those cookies, so they go away. Second, your second most points was at Kill Scream 3. Shout out to the boys up north for running Kill Scream.
Absolutely.
Then you took fourth at the Tacoma Grand Opening. Then you took fourth at Worlds, right, which is huge. And then the Bay Area Championships, which is something I ran. And the rest of my events were definitely lower than that. But you did have 2 of my events in there, 2 of GW events in there. But there's a couple anomalies down here at the bottom. SoCal Open, you took 36th place. What happened there, Jimmy?
Oh, well, I drank a lot, and here's the thing. I only brought half my models. I was like, wait a minute, Felgor is supposed to have 10? Like, what's going on there? I just brought 5 goats, and I had so much ego. I was like, I told everyone, I got really drunk. I'm like, I could beat you stupid bitches with half my team and half my brain tied behind my back. And I couldn't. It was a good humble. It was a good boost. I thought I was too good.
Sportsmanship things you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was doing so good. I'm like, I'm so much better than you losers. Like, I'll beat you with nothing. And then everyone was like, we beat you. I'm like, oh, sad. Oh no, I'm not that good. Okay, no. So really, what happened? I talk about burning out. I was burned out, and I couldn't do more events. So I brought a team, and I played the first 2 rounds, and I made a decision. I was like, I don't want to win this thing. I was like, I'm going to play until I play against someone who wants to win, because there was a golden ticket, and I had one. So I'm like, I don't need another. So I was like, the moment I play someone that's trying to get a golden ticket, or they want to win, or they want to do well, I'm just going to quit, and I'm going to just bugger off and like horseplay. And I think it was round 3. I faced someone, and I was like, look, I gave them the choice, and they said they wanted to, so I quit. I resigned. I gave them the win, and then I got a practice game in with the guy who was going to get a buy round. Try to do some we just went through a fun game, and then people left me unattended. They didn't watch me, and so I just grabbed a headset and jumped in with G, and I was like helping commentate, and it was so fun because I just kept grabbing random things and pretending they sponsored the event, like. I think I grabbed like a Sprite, and I was like, brought to you by Sprite. Like, I don't know if you ever got in trouble for that, but like, I was definitely saying shit I shouldn't be saying. And I swore constantly, because I know you guys were going to release it on YouTube, and they're like,
well, we never could.
No, you're like, you had Jimmy on? Oh, yeah. This was doomed. Like,
those
there's no way.
The Patreon. If you guys want to see those and see Jimmy commentary, make sure you sign up to our Patreon. Those were not fit for YouTube viewing. But there are great content.
But it was such a fun event. And I remember like me and G were like jumping out of our seat at some points, like watching some of the games. And it was so fun. I got to like do commentary for Jesh's last game. He won SoCal Open. And it was a nail biter. It was like one of the closest games. And there was a time I was convinced like, oh, he lost the game. First I was like, oh, he's won it. He's totally annihilated Austin, who's, also my teammate. And then like Austin came back. I'm like, Jesh lost it. This one move, I was going to G. I'm like, oh man, now I got to deal with like consoling my son. And I've got to and then he came back and won the final action. It was exciting. I was jumping.
I had to console Austin.
I hugged G. We jumped. I cried, and then he pushed me away and said, "I didn't want to hug you. What are you doing?" And I was like, "He's like, this is non-consensual hugging." And I was like, "Oh, just please, someone hold me." And it was great. And then I went over and I started jumping on people. It was like the security was called. It was so much fun. It was the best. It was such a fun tournament. Yeah, probably. Like someone tased me, and I don't know who it was. It was so much fun, I didn't even care. I was like, it's just a little zap, it's fine. Anyways, no, it was a great game. But yeah, there's not a great turnout for a score, but it was an amazing event.
That's fair.
So
for your next two events that I want to talk about, just to see, what happened. We had Pacific Skirmish Open. I do know that you did play in this one for the entire time, or I believe so. Mm-hmm. What happened in this one? You ended up getting 14th place. So this is one of the. What happened here, Jimmy?
I just didn't do well. I didn't get practice with the team ahead of time. I got tilted halfway through, but like I could give you a lot of like emotional reasons or excuses. I just didn't come prepared, didn't play well. And I think, but also a big thing for me too has been like, it's fun to do well, but like, I think to be a good player, there's two things. I've been saying this and I'm going to keep saying it to people. There's two things you have to do if you want to do well and be happy with anything you do. Number one, you have to believe that you can win. And you have to like genuinely, truly believe you are capable and worthy of winning. A lot of people really just give up. They're like, oh, well, I can't win. You got to believe it. The moment you believe it, you then have to wholeheartedly accept that it's okay not to. You have to be okay with losing. Because it happens. Like it's like, for example, those 5 scorers that got me number 1, 2 of them were wins. The rest I didn't. The rest were 2nd place or 4th place, right? Like the best you can do, like you can't will yourself to get 1st place. It's rare. It's hard. So show up, believe you can win, be fully okay if you can't, and don't let it ruin you. Pacific Skirmish was just 100%. Didn't play well, got tilted, didn't come prepared. It went bad. Also, there's a bunch of monsters there. Like that was a small tournament. Everyone there was a freaking monster. Yeah, but like it's fine. You're gonna have those.
There's 26 players at that event, and there were probably, I would say, half the field could have taken that event. It's a very concentrated scene for highly competitive, very good players. It was a very fun event. West Coast Champs is the only other one that you did not top in place 4. I do know that one's quite a journey for you. How did that one turn out for you, Jimmy?
Oh boy, that was rough. West Coast Champs I didn't want to go. I was very burned out. I've been away from my family for a long time. I was going to try to send Jesh and Kellen, a couple of their teammates, and last minute it turned out the only way that Jesh and Kellen were going to get there was if I drove up with them. And so I worked all day. We left late at night, drove through the night, got there that morning. I brought a team intentionally. I was not hoping to do well. I wanted Jesh to try to do well. So I brought Nemesis Claw. And in the current data, they're not bad, but like they're not going to beat Warp Coven. They're going to really struggle in a couple key matchups, right? And I played the whole day after being awake for like, oh, this sounds all like excuses. I didn't bring a great team that shouldn't have won. I came exhausted with no preparation. And it was really ironic too, because that morning, video dropped on Command Point featuring me telling people how to run Nemesis Claw. And I showed up and I was like, what are my rules? Like, it was so embarrassing. They're like, every opponent was like, Jimmy, why did you release a video on this team? I'm like, cause I'm an egomaniac. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Like, people let me do things and I do it. I shouldn't be trusted. Don't listen to me. But I was like, I didn't come prepared. I came exhausted. I didn't want to win or try to win. But I think that goes along with that thing. Like, genuinely, like, it's fun to do well, and I'm always happy if I don't. Like, I don't need to do well. So there's going to be events where I don't do well, and that's okay. Like, and mostly, like, honestly, there's always so many excuses you can bring up, like, oh, it wasn't a meta team, or I was tired. But like those are all factors. But like, I wasn't prepared, and I wasn't in a mindset of trying to win. And yeah, so like my one loss at LVO against Orion, I was not prepared for Plague Marines. I didn't practice. I didn't prepare for it. I didn't bring it was just preparation. So it happens. So yeah.
So the reason why I brought up those is because I just wanted to see how you felt about them. I wanted the community to kind of know that even the top of ITC, sometimes you can lose, and I think that's important to realize when you go to events. Is like there's only going to be one winner, right? There's only going to be one winner in ITC. And I think it's really important to maintain that, like, even the person who gets number one on ITC doesn't go to every event looking to win, right? Sometimes you're there just for moral support. Sometimes you're there to support me, right? Sometimes you're there for Jeshua, right?
Yeah.
You know, or Kellen or somebody else on your team, which I think is highly honorable as a, you know, as a leader and as a captain for your team, is that sometimes, even if you're not necessarily in a great place, you still put your team and even your family above a lot of the needs that you.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then here's the big
I
thing
find that
too.
highly honorable. So I just wanted to shout you out, Jimmy.
I really appreciate that. And I think this is an important thing. Top players may show up to events and only want to win every single time and want to crush every single time. But those aren't going to be happy players. Long term, if you show up and you need to win, you are going to take a toll on your mental health, because you'll win now and then. No one wins. And by the way, if anyone ever did consistently win, I would be so suspect of that person. Like, how are you winning every event? Like, how is that possible? Like, this is not chess. You are not Magnus Carlsen. You should not win every event. Like, you need to go in knowing that sometimes there's going to be an upset. Sometimes the dice are going to abandon you. Sometimes you'll make misplays. Sometimes you'll come unprepared. If you go to have fun for the community, sometimes you'll win. Sometimes you'll come up, you'll podium. Sometimes you'll do bad. But with almost every tournament, I had a lot of fun. There was an example that I did not have fun, but it had nothing to do with the tournament. It was just, I was too tired and too exhausted, and it was miserable. But for the most part, if you show up,
Jimmy, can you say that again? Jimmy, you're going in and out. Just a tad. I wanted to hear that last part again.
Oh, my internet just started. Okay, sorry, I'm with AT&T, so that should tell you everything.
Gotta love AT&T. So,
anyways, no. I always go to have fun for the community, and for the most part, win or lose, I did have a great experience. So that's the takeaway. If you show up for the community, you'll have a great time wherever you end up. If you show up for yourself and you need to win, even winning probably won't be enough. You'll win, and it's like, I don't know, winning's fun, and then it fades, and then you feel like you need to win the next one, and that's going to be the thing that like gets you the accolades you deserve. So you got to show up for others and for the team and be okay with where you place if you want to be happy.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be happy and you just want to win, then I can give you tips on that too.
Jimmy, I know you got to go, so we'll focus on Garrett from here on out. Do you have anything else that you want to shout out, Jimmy?
No, I just want to thank you guys. I couldn't be more blessed to have amazing friends and people that are doing so much for the community. And the success feels good because I get to achieve it in a community that you're building of people I really look up to and value and appreciate. And you guys mean the world to me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Well, we love you too, Jimmy.
Take it easy.
Appreciate it. Now, Garrett is far more interesting and his accomplishments are far better. So this is the guy you should actually be talking to more. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to talk to you later. Okay.
Oh, Jimmy.
It's true. All right. Okay. Oh, Garrett, message me afterwards. I have some questions for you.
Sounds good.
All right. Great. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Talk to you later, brother.
Jimmy.
Bye. So, Garrett.
Yeah.
You had some crazies, you know. Now, do you think Jimmy Kelly was being like, oh yeah, this guy's really awesome, like you know, making an absurd comment, or do you think he was being legit? Because I think he was being legit. You never know. You never know with Jimmy though.
I think the answer can be both, right? I think it can definitely be both. I think I have a ton of respect for Jimmy. I think he thinks I'm all right. And also, like, let's be real. The thing that Jimmy did was really freaking hard, and he was competing against like 4,000 people or something. And you know, not to belittle my own accomplishments here, but like, you know, we've got a much smaller scene so far.
We'll see. I'm going to pull up the stats.
Yeah,
we're going to see.
All right.
We're going to see. But before we jump just fully to hobby and stuff like that, right? I wanted to pull up, you ended up placing 194th in competitive, right? Which is pretty good.
Pretty good.
Right? Look at this. First place, fourth place, third place, 73rd, 19th, 5th, and 26th, right?
I have an important note about that 73rd.
Okay.
I was the first loser at LVO. I had the highest below 500 ranking at the tournament, which is a source of great mid-table pride for me.
I like that.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, and it looks like you played nothing but Hardenkin Jaegers and Felgor, which both of those teams are absolutely beautiful. Oh, you played Farstalker Kinvan. When you played that March one, was that your custom converted ones from the very first time that we met you?
It was. I brought them back out for one tournament. It was a Beta Decima tournament. It was a miserable experience from a competitive perspective, and I put them back in the closet and haven't touched them since.
That's fair. To be honest, that is still one of my favorite displays that I think you've ever made.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was a good introduction to hobby track, and I had a blast with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a couple other people up in the Bay Area that are really gearing up and getting ready for. So it's interesting. We just did a podcast. We recorded it today with Sammy, the Cadia,
Oh, heck yes.
Cadia Fight Club and all of them. And they focus a lot on like the competitive and, John is a great painter.
I mean, they've got incredible hobby up there too, though.
They do.
The Sacramento scene. I know for a fact there are a couple of people who are gunning for top of ITC this coming year.
But you yourself, right? You also did really, really well. And your tournaments really focus a lot on hobby, right? Just like mine. I focus a lot on hobby. And I think we could see, let's see here. We have Gobnobs. This is yours. We have All Valley. We have okay. I was looking at hobby track stuff. I was like, wait, why is LVO not the top one? I was so confused. So like there's a lot of great stuff. How did you Aiden won last year. That dude is a monster, right? How did you feel? Were you gunning for first, or were you just doing your best hobby work and coming out?
Somewhere in between.
Okay.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't make sure I had 5 events on my calendar.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna kill him. Like I'm coming after him.
No. I mean, honestly, if I'm being perfectly honest, like I didn't think I had a chance of beating Aiden. This came as kind of a shock that it was an opportunity at the end of the year, but I wanted to just give it my best shot. I think it was just a fun thing to kind of aspire to for the year. Good reason to like really turn up my hobby. An opportunity to like force myself into some more uncomfortable places as I tried on some new skills and tried to grow. And I think that's really what it was about. My partner Morgan was very supportive in letting me travel a little bit more than I otherwise would have been able to.
Thank you, Morgan.
A little bit more time at the hobby desk than I would have otherwise been able to. But it was definitely in my mind. It was on the. There was a roadmap for sure.
Well, I love that you were kind of like the very first time we kind of went up to an event and we were like, holy cow, this guy, holy cow, this guy. Right. And we were like, yo, we have screw competitive Bay Area Championship 2022. We need to talk to you. On a podcast, right? And is that the last time we've had you on? It was one of our early episodes.
Earliest ones.
I think so. Yeah. Back in May of the year before last. Yeah.
22, right? Yeah.
Yeah. 20, or it might have been 23, I guess. 23.
Oh yeah. Duh. We're in 25.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's been really exciting to kind of see your hobby journey and see how
it's been fun
crazy,
to be on it,
how crazy some of your stuff has really gotten, very excited to see what you do next. As always, I'm a big fan. Big fan. I really enjoy your stuff.
Oh, thanks, man.
And your art style. I really enjoy Aiden's stuff too. And Alex's stuff. I told Alex had a shot too this year.
He
Alexander
did.
Popov.
Yeah,
but that fool needs to bring a damn display board to every event. He's like, no. He almost got selected for the showcase, but he just had contrast skin. So if anyone's looking to do well in hobby track, right, don't leave it just contrast. You got to do highlights. You got to do some stuff, some technical work, right? If you just do slap chop, you might win your smaller local areas for hobby track, but some of these bigger events, we're looking for technical skill.
You will be chopped. I love that show.
His board concept was pretty cool, though. I really
Which one?
That.
The cannon,
the one that he brought to LVO. Yeah, with the big gun.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of we'll get there in a second. I wanted to shout out the teams first. It looks like Southern Discomfort, which is Alexander Popov's team. They got first this year for hobby track for Kill Team. Your team, Gobnobs, took second.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that was really fun. I definitely we've been getting really stoked up in the Bay Area about hobby recently. If you coming out to the last couple of local tournaments we've had, people have been really pulling out the stops. I think they got tired of me just like bringing a display board at all and winning. And so folks have really been stepping up, checking all the major boxes on the hobby track rubric, but also just like really stepping up their game, like bringing an incredible level of artistry and technical competence to stuff. And so a couple of folks on our team, Gobnobs, have been contributing in a real way to getting our team up there for overall ITC hobby stuff.
Absolutely.
And even beyond that, it's just like, I mean, whatever. I think the most important thing about hobby is that it's a celebration of like the level of commitment that we all have to this thing. And there is so much time and love and care and attention to detail that goes into even, you were poo-pooing slap chop a second ago, but hey, that's still a lot of work.
It is.
And
to do it to a higher level, it is.
Yeah. And, and people are putting that in, this is the thing that like anyone outside of our hobby is going to look at what we were doing and be like, wait, you've spent how many hours doing this for your game? And that's a thing that we all share, and I think that it's like really it's a big piece of the glue that holds the community together. And so watching people share that and bring that out and celebrate that together has been awesome to watch at the locals and at bigger events like what you were holding at LVO.
Mm-hmm. Cellar Dwellers is Aiden's team. They're coming up hot on the heels. In fact, they just lost to you guys by 2 points.
Wow.
Man, I didn't realize
it's actually 1.99 points.
Someone must have not brought a display board to one event, and then it cost them everything.
Plasma Spam is a great team on the East Coast. They came in fourth, and then we have the Rail Splitter Ruffians, which I believe is somewhere in the Midwest, and they came in fifth. I don't see a lot of their players go to any kind of really big events outside of Adepticon. Perhaps they'll think about coming to LVO or Nova or any of the other bigger events to up their games as well, their points as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And most of their scores are specifically just from monthly tournaments and stuff like that. So you go up and we see Garrett with first place with 935 points. You almost broke 1,000 this year.
Oh,
yeah. Almost averaging 200 points per, right? We have Aiden in second. We have myself in third. We have Brett. We have Brett in fourth, and we have Alexander Popov in fifth. And then quickly, we have Jonathan Reynolds, also part of Rail Splitter Ruffians, in sixth. Liam from the Vegas crew in seventh. Janice from Plasma Spam in eighth. James Robinson from Southern Discomfort in ninth. And Daniel Esperanza Where's Daniel from?
And Daniel is from our local scene.
Wow.
Is he really?
I have something to tell you about Daniel.
He's a gobnob, huh?
Daniel.
Is he? No, he's a wooden
He's a
spoon tycoon.
We haven't been able to recruit him to gobnobs yet, but
wow.
He refuses.
Daniel Esperanza. This guy, I love his work.
Display board. He's never brought a display board, and he's in 10th. If he had this is the thing that I say to him every single time he comes to an event. You would win everything you submitted to if you made a display board. He's working on it. But he does incredible work. He's a really, really talented converter and really, really solid painter.
So what turned me on to Daniel is LVO in 2023. He brought this amazingly beautiful Chaos Space Marine team that was heavily converted. Amazing weather work, and I think he got like second overall. And we're learning about stuff at LVO with stuff that I've never thought of bringing things for. Like I kind of want to bring most creative next year because we had, I think, Orion Renshaw bring like bees, a bee kill team, the honeybees.
Yeah.
Jonathan Marquis with his blacklight display, really, really creative stuff. And we just didn't have a category for super overly creative designs, right? I also thought about doing something else for LVO, finalist pins, so to come to the award ceremony. So if you get a finalist pin after our showcase, you are definitely like top 5 of a specific category. And if you don't win, you still get to walk home with being like, oh, I was a showcase finalist. I definitely want to do stuff like that for upcoming hobby stuff and being able to help support the hobby community as much as we support the community, the competitive community. Because in the end, like we're here for sportsmanship, we're here to paint well, and we're here to show off the miniatures that we love, right? Now, Garrett, we're gonna pop into your scores here. We're gonna talk about some the events that you went to this year. See how you did. Oh, look at that. First, 11th. What? Now we focused on the negative stuff right? For Mr. Jimmy Kelly here. So I wanted to ask you, what happened at the All Valleys? I'm pretty sure I lied to you. I'm pretty sure.
No. Well, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
It wasn't my fault.
But
okay.
But
all right.
So what happened at All Valley Team Tournament is that it's graded as a team, not as individual. I failed to be a good team player. I brought what I thought was a great display for my team, and I left my teammates hung out to dry. And this is the result, So AVTT this coming year, we will be doing a joint display board. We will be looking to take it down.
Joint hops.
Hell yeah. Now let's just we'll click into the All Valley Team Tournament. It is one that we run. It is a 1v1v1 team tournament that we host here in LA.
Amazing event. Everyone should go. Super fun time.
We had 66 players. I'm trying to convince Spain, and we do have a Canadian contingency that told me that they're coming, and a bunch of people from the East Coast are making their way back this year after a year break. But I wanted to show. It looks like where did Aiden land? Let's see here. He's not here to defend himself. I don't even think I can spell his name.
You had it right.
Cellar Dwellers. They got 15th. So you beat him here as well. Take that, Aiden.
Wow. He was just dunking.
I think if you're not going to defend Aiden, I will.
Okay.
Because
he definitely had.
Another thing that happened at AVTT is that I'm pretty sure I snuck out a win on best painted from him because he forgot to submit his team for the best painted competition. It was super fun at LVO getting to just like hang out with him and both.
That is not the case. We judged it as a team basis.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I meant for Forge Brush.
Okay.
But anyways, I want to give like a proper shout out here to Aiden for just being, in addition to like an all around G and super fun person to hang out with, an absolute hobby like menace. His painting is incredible. the like level of creativity in his conversion work is off the charts. And like the way he does composition for his display boards, I mean, you guys have talked about his stuff. You've had him on. We've, Squad Games has gushed about his stuff a lot, but I have to do it as well because, frankly, like that is the thing that I aspire to, like that level of.
I think I have a photo of his.
Yeah, I pull it up.
Okay, let me do this so I look way more professional.
He brings like a level of like style and panache to the whole hobby track thing that I feel like I haven't totally landed on what my style wants to be, and so I'm like, I look at him and I'm like. Someday.
Someday you could be bald too.
I don't know. My grandpa died with a full head of hair. I don't know if I'm headed that way.
We're cursed.
So some of these photos are a little overexposed for Aiden's stuff, right? A little.
Perfect.
Let me try to.
Man, this actually looks pretty good.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. There we go. Yeah. So. This is Aiden's display for the Las Vegas Open. I think there's a couple of photos here that Sheldon took for us. A wonderful display piece. I think everything was sculpted out of air drying clay and 3D background with some wonderful non-metallic metal workings. Absolutely legendary here. LVO is known for having not great lighting, so it is what it is. And with great lighting, you can see a lot more detail than you typically could in the hall. Yeah, absolutely wonderful, crazy conversion works. Yeah, he just did a great job.
He killed it, dude.
Yeah,
he did.
It's unbelievable. And like even if you zoom in from here, it doesn't get worse the more you zoom in. Like it really holds up to a pretty incredible like level of rigor.
The fidelity of the quality is still there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Every single model.
My only complaint is if you ever see his work in progress stuff, you don't really get to see the background as much of the planet and the other asteroids he painted. Mm-hmm. But that's just like a first world problem. It's not even a real thing to complain about, like the purple planet in the background and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I don't know. I that's one thing that I think is just so cool that he like so seamlessly blends backdrop painting and terrain painting with what's happening on his miniatures. It's like a really really cohesive whole in all of the work that I've seen from him. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking for yours now, Garrett, so we can talk about yours.
So that way you can be embarrassed.
We did see it we did see quite a bit of it this year. And sorry, some of the things are out of focus.
I mean, it's impossible not to. Like, it's just a really deep board.
It's a wonderful display. Like, honestly, we saw that at AVTT the first time, and we were like, "Whoa!" Yeah, absolutely. Some of the things that I love about your stuff is like the bases just seamlessly match your
theme there. Whoops.
Yeah, well,
you get
typically
what we mean.
typically it's not like that. I'm pretty sure one of the GW judges picked up this model and did not put it back. But this is perfect. It is normally perfect. So we'll move away from that real quick. The color choices on a lot of your stuff just absolutely complement everything, right? Like this purple is just absolutely amazing. And then mixed with this like teal, blue, black highlight stuff is absolutely great.
You made good choices.
Yeah,
very good choices.
How that turned out.
Mm-hmm. Color wise, just absolutely glorious. You can kind of see here, this is what I'm talking about. Everything just blends perfectly, right? I think the orcs are a brand new addition. From what we typically see, right?
It was the freehand on the walls, right?
It was part of the overall plan, but see my previous notes about limited hobby time. I just ran out of time before AVTT to tell the whole story, and so I figured the orcs would get added later. But
that's fair. Absolutely glorious.
Pay
attention,
little guy up there.
Yeah, attention is paid to every single detail, and you have this great Zoran effect in the background, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love it. So, yeah,
killed it
for sure. Kill shot.
That's why that's why you're number one.
Mm-hmm. So when we go to the some of your other events here. You placed very well at Kill Team Tournament, which I don't know where that one's from.
Yeah, that was Sheldon ran that down in Fremont.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a fun tournament. It was like a kind of a meme map setup.
Oh, that was the container maps.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
City stuff.
Yeah,
that was a good time. 4 rounds in one day. Turns out I'm not really cut out for that, but we had a good time.
Good. We have the Gobnobs presents April. That was you scored well at that one. The West Coast Championships.
I do have to note. So that is that's our team. I helped organize that, but I was not a day of TO or judge. I competed in that one.
That's fair. That's fair. Sometimes like me and Giacomo, we can't because we are judges for our thing entirely. But if your team is running something, I think that's very much fair to be able to. And you bring that, oh no, that was your Felgor Ravagers, which won judge's favorite at LVO last year, which is also a phenomenal piece.
That was a fun one.
Yeah. And then we have West Coast Championships, first place. You have Bay Area Open Championships, first place. And then you have the Las Vegas Open, also first place. You really made all 5 events count.
So you'll notice, Dakotah, there are 6 events on this list. I wasn't planning on going to 6 events this year. I just sneaked in that Sheldon event at the end.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm glad you did because you wouldn't have got first if you didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Nope, had to happen.
Yeah, I tricked you into the All Valley Team Tournament. Now I thought it was. The year before, Best Coast Pairings updated this stuff because it used to be single pairings for Hobby Track, but Hobby Track wasn't officially sorted back then. Mm-hmm. So I think I was able to do it more on the back end, and I was just ignorant of how BCP does team tournaments after all, right?
Oh, and honestly, this is correct. This is like the right way for AVTT to get scored, right? It has to be about the team stuff. I think that's just right. And honestly, like, so when all this went down, the folks on my team, they felt really bad. They're like, we didn't bring anything. We cost you, a shot at ITC, and I was like, don't worry about it, but also, yeah. Do better, No, and like, no, I didn't because that's not how I operate. Yeah, but like, I think that actually lit a fire under their asses because they've all really stepped up their game. They're all making display boards right now and looking to really turn it up. So like, this is an ideal outcome for me. We're gonna get better hobby in our scene. And every single time someone brings something cool to an event, someone else gets inspired.
Absolutely.
And so that happens enough times, and it's a rising tide. Everybody's just working this stuff harder and pushing themselves and growing a little bit in the hobby, and it's awesome. I freaking love it. So.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how no one. When we first started Hobby Track, I did it. If anyone doesn't know, we ran it on Squad Games or Lester's Workshop back in the day, but squadgames.net. We ran it there forever. And we have like a rubric guideline in case you want to use that, or in case you want to, learn how to judge and stuff like that. Or if you're running a tournament on what Hobby Track is. But we used to hold Hobby Track entirely separately from the ITC because ITC did not support it for Kill Team for 2 years. So we came in and specifically supported it, made trophies for it, did everything that we could as a scene. And it was really awesome to see people every time, what is Hobby Track? And people are like, oh, I don't think my stuff's good enough for Hobby Track, yada, yada, yada. And then I was like, okay, you're just going to get a 0. Like, you painted your models. You might as well get a score. And people are like, what is Hobby Track? Right. And Hobby Track is just a way to track how well you're doing at painting. It's a way to compete with your brush rather than rolling dice. Because not everyone likes rolling dice, but Hobby Track's one at home, right? Like, how good are you as a hobbyist even if you don't think you're good enough, you can still have a score, just like you do in the ITC when you show up to an event that is supported by ITC. Garrett, what does hobby track mean to you?
What's hobby tracking to me? These days, I think it mostly, kind of related to what I was saying earlier, is a way to celebrate the community and that piece of what our community is, which is, that work at home, that commitment to a craft that we all share because we're all playing this game together, and then bringing that into the open, and giving people a place where they can be celebrated for it. I think that it's I've definitely found that in our local events, it's a huge component of making people feel connected to the larger kill team community. And not everyone is Jimmy Kelly. I'm certainly not, and not everyone's going to be competing for podiums or top eights or anything other than, winning a game in the day, maybe. Right. And that's totally fine. Not all our brains work that way. I'm a pretty infamously slow player at this point. My brain doesn't always work in that way. Right. That like a slower, more meticulous, methodical approach to the hobby, maybe that bears out well in painting stuff. And I don't know. I think there are, taking a step back from that, maybe there are a lot of different ways to engage with this hobby, and Hobby Track celebrates a way to engage with this hobby that is different from being a competitive kill teamer, and I think that's really important. One thing that I think is really awesome about the way that you guys run your events is that you do find ways to celebrate a lot of different people, bringing a lot of different things to it. I think that's huge. I think that's super important. Not everybody leaves with a little Dakotah plaque to stick on their fridge and hold save the dates. But a lot of people do, and I think that is huge. So Hobby Track is that to me, I guess.
That's fair.
I like that.
Yeah. Gee, what is Hobby Track to you? Because me and Giacomo used to compete in the 40K Hobby Track before we started competing and running kill team events, right? And that's where I got really inspired. I never painted a full team, like army up good enough for it, but our friend Lucas did.
Yes, he did.
And he did really well, and he almost got third place. So there's a lot of inspiration for us. But G, what does it mean to you? And do you feel more comfortable to be able to compete for Hobby Track now that we don't necessarily run it anymore? It's more like Games Workshop actually holds it, and we can just be like pillars of like showing hobby stuff off, because sometimes I just like to be like, yo, I made something cool. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, like that part's a lot of fun. Because I generally try not to compete in events that I'm part of, because I think that's just kind of, it's like a tackiness if you try to win your own thing. Like, for me personally, so I try not to do it. But now that we're not technically in charge of it, I'm not really worried if I were to enter. Not that I'm gonna go jump to a million events, but I'd feel more comfortable doing it. Like if for some reason, again, very rare, I doubt it would happen, that I somehow go to 6 other events that aren't something we're running, and I score high enough and then win at the end. I wouldn't feel upset accepting the award. My cat's awake.
Hey, there's lots of Hobby Track in the Bay, G. Come hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to go more up north, into the Bay Area. But ITC for me, like it's a good way to look at your progression too. If you're starting out, like I think that's always a fun one. Is maybe the first time you score 50 points. All right, it was my first time playing the game. Someone gave me Marines. I painted them. Wasn't that great? Then a year later, maybe now you're scoring 150 because you put your own work in, you converted some stuff, or you added a display board. So it's a really good way to look back and see how well you did throughout the year. And of course, winning is always cool.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm looking for Orion's paint job right now. See if we can. Nope. We did not get a picture of it, but we did get Alistar's painting. It looks like we only got one photo. That is extremely blurry. That's fantastic. But we're going to look at it anyways. I want to go over a little bit more painting stuff. There's a lot of hobby that happened at this event. Games Workshop gave out a bunch of trophies. And we didn't get photos of everything just because there was a lot, we tried to get as many photos as we could. And we're going to be better about that going forward at future events. But I think, let's celebrate as much as we celebrated competitive earlier, talking to Jimmy Kelly. Let's celebrate some wonderful hobby stuff. And you guys can look at all the wonderful things people did at LVO.
Oh, this sounds great.
Yeah. So this is Alistar's. And as we can see, the main model in focus is out of focus. Apologize. But we can kind of see his work on skin and his eyeballs, and just absolutely phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Now, he is painting in a colorblind spectrum for me. So a lot of times they're like, oh, the dark red going to the light red, and then like shit going throughout the entire. I can see a little bit in the photo, but in person, I was like, yo, dude, this dude looks like red with like great edge highlights, I had to trust what my judges were telling me.
Yep.
On the shading.
It was good. I mean, you could see it right now. So, I mean, I don't know if you can, but everyone else can.
We had Byron from Artist Opus help us judge a lot of these things. We can kind of zoom in and see this homie's just eyeball.
Lens, yeah.
Right. And we're zooming in far, right? So in a dark room, there is also some amazing chipping that happened on this blade back here. Unfortunately, we can't see probably the best face of the lot. Maybe if Alistar is watching, he can post it on our Discord, or if he's in our Discord, he can post some really nice, high quality. He has some great work in progress photos. Because I had to come up to him. I was like, "Yo, did you paint these?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I got work in progress." I was like, "Hey, as long as you say yeah, I believe you." And he showed me some work in product. Bro, these are absolutely phenomenal. It's our first event we've ever seen him at. He has some great stuff here. So he was, and I just love his basing. So a lot of his basing is GW stock standard from the Justian kit, but it's just so well executed here, right? We have some great stone, some great shading, and then the static flock that he put on is just absolutely wonderful. Alongside painting everything, it's just like his pigment pushing is next level. Absolutely glorious. What do you think about this, Garrett?
I mean, it's pretty stunning. This is things that I aspire to, right? The having smooth blends at that tiny scale on surfaces that are really unforgiving to any errors. I mean, I don't paint a lot of power armor, but I paint a lot of orc shoulders. It's a similar kind of story, and that's incredible. The amount of effort and time that must have gone into each of those models is
a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. So I want to jump to our judges' favorite next. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we got photos of every finalist and stuff. So if we missed a couple photos, I do apologize. We were on a time crunch, and but this is Dirk. Dirk had a great, a really fun display. And while I don't think Dirk had the technicalities and the technical paint job to win the event, we enjoyed his theme, enjoyed everything so much about it that it 100% needed to walk away with something. This guy, he like the display, the team, the smoke effect, right? I believe this is the old second edition terrain pieces. Third edition came out in the third Black Templar versus
Orcs, right?
Dark Eldar set.
Oh, it was Dark Eldar, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this was before the Black Reach.
That's right.
And he has great little laser cut pieces, inside work, all this conversion work, plastic card work. Absolutely crazy creative, really fun, really exciting. You can see Chris Bocky's in the background. I'm going to jump to his as well. But absolutely phenomenal job. And of all the judges, we all agreed that this was, outside of winning anything else, this was by far our favorite. And Dirk did a wonderful job. I can't wait to see what he does next year. And that's the great thing, is every year I just get to see how much better people get.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I loved the it's a little thing here, but the meanwhile and like, back in the bunker, what that did for world building and storytelling for this display board was pretty off the charts for me. I like, all of a sudden I felt like my brain started telling stories about each one of these operatives because they had a life outside of the primary display board. I thought that was such a cool little lever to pull on that I don't think I'd ever really experienced in a display board before. That was awesome.
And if anyone knows me, I'm a sucker for plaques. I am a sucker. I want to see your name so we don't have to do this little hobby track thing. I want to see what the title of your display is. I want thought and effort to go into every single piece of your display. That gets me every time.
A good display will always have a name.
Let's see here. Where's a couple other good ones? Okay, this one, I think third overall best painted, Jason Ellis, I believe. A great Necron display board. We really liked a lot of the OSL work here. The model back here was in the running for some best painted single models as well.
That blade was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. It's a great piece. It's great conceptually. Something that I absolutely love and adore about Necrons is when they're painted in pristine metals, living metal, and then all the other metal around them is just super corroded because it just gives that extra bit of contrast that you typically don't get to see. Along with the green power, the everything else, the display board was absolutely immaculate, right? Two little homies, my little guys, getting murdered. That's honestly why he didn't win. He's, you can't kill Vetguard in a display board looking at Dakotah stuff, but absolutely great. Very fun and engaging display board as well. A lot of bright colors and great choices as well. What do you guys think about this?
It's very eye-catching.
Yeah. No, Dakotah, I love what you said about the contrasting metals. There are a lot of different metals in play here, and they all play together really nicely. And again, tell a little bit of the story, right? Yeah. Also, just going back to those guard, I know that you want to move away from this as quickly as possible, but that's awesome. That's so cool. Like, again, storytelling, right?
It's small detail. Yeah.
And if you didn't notice, there's two more homies back here. This guy's a medic, obviously, absolutely wonderful. Let's see here. Let's see if I can pull up any other finalists or winners. There's some great stuff there. Okay. Back this way. I'm going to pull up Melty's Purple Orcs next because Melty actually won award from Games Workshop just as much as you and Aiden did. He did win best conversion at our event. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, these were super cool. I saw those pop up in work in progress on your Discord and was like, oh hell yeah, these are gonna be great. I can't wait to see these in person.
Such a funny idea, so well executed.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like Sheldon liked them a lot as well because he got 3 photos of them.
Okay.
So these are Melty's Purple Orcs. These orcs, which we'll scroll through, they've all been hollowed out because they're purple. If get it, can't see them. They forgot to paint their armor purple though, so they're still there.
That's a better angle, so you can really see like what he does with to still represent heads without there being a head, which takes a lot of effort.
It really does. It really, really does. And then it's really cool that he was able to put like the axe where it would be and glue it here so that you could still see like the part of the elbow. From what I heard, I think he said it took about 4 hours per model to hollow them out and cut each one out, not including paint time. So absolutely one of the most creative things I have seen
in a long time.
Yeah.
It's incredible how they figured out how to have just enough material connecting it all so that it was like it could stand up and you could play a game with it, while still like totally selling the effect that it's so good. It's so good.
Now, I'm going to pop up this next one because I did find Orion's. I want you to fawn over it and tell us your thoughts about it before I go through and say ours, because this was one of my favorites from LVO.
Yeah, I mean,
do you want me to zoom in on anything?
Yeah. I remember it. Yeah. I had to pull Orion back over to his board so that I could also fawn over it. It's incredible.
Look at the eyeball.
I mean, the eyeball's there, the glass eyes that he put down on all over the place, actually.
There's one, the worms.
The amount of green stuff work involved in this is pretty staggering. And the level of attention to detail with all of it, likewise staggering. And like, if you zoom back out, compositionally, it's kind of perfect too. Like it wasn't like a case of getting lost in the details and then you pop back out and you're like, ugh, all right. I mean, sure, like the effort's there, but no, it's like all the way through. And then the blending, if you zoom in on any one of these like gross green nurgly bits, like the tiny little elements have like pristine blending on them. It's he did a really, really great job with this. I was pretty stunned. It's not really fair that he can do this and also be as insanely good at the game as he is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We could all be jealous of Orion. One of my favorite things about this is the composition, right? I love the fact that you just want to look at this board for a long time. It's not too much. The models are the centerpiece and there's just so many little details, but they're not overpowering, right? Yep. The paint job is great. And it's just like an overall, just like really thought out classic, like a masterpiece of like just adding one extra tank, not too much, paying attention to every single detail while keeping it travelable because he's from Baltimore, right? It's quite a far distance. Can't drive, right? Imagine flying with my display. It is not easy. So I mean, this is just an absolute great job from a really highly competitive player as well. Yeah. I think you said wonders, Garrett. We also have, I would like to look at Chris Bocky's as well. This was one of my favorites, personally. I'm a big Eldar fan, so obviously I'm going to like it. There's a lot of really cool little details. He had a light in here. He had a light coming out the engines. Custom, perfect equipment pieces, right?
Nice. I actually missed that was razor wire for play.
Really? Awesome. It's super cool. Little barricades, Yep. The models are fantastic.
He's brought those out to some local tournaments and they're painted to a really, really high standard. They look beautiful.
Yeah, I definitely really enjoy this composition. Is quite fun as well. Obviously, there's things that can be done to improve it, but it's like the groundwork. Mm-hmm. The groundwork to me is
I really dig the rocks.
Actually. Yeah, it's just this is one of the hardest things to pull off without having the leopard spot effect with plaster rocks and stuff. I would love to know how he did this, because to me, being a colorblind guy, this is absolutely phenomenal groundwork. Phenomenal stuff.
Yep, I remember seeing that when it was just rocks going down, seeing some work in progress stuff there, and being like, oof, yeah, can't wait to see where this lands. And then I feel like he continued to just like pile on more and more like really awesome bits to it. It's a very complete board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and we missed a lot of other really, really good a lot of other good entries at LVO, which is unfortunate. And hopefully those people can take some nice high quality pictures and post them on our Discord. But like, doing something like that and going to an event only increases the atmosphere. There's so many times when you go to an event and it's just competitive and you're like, all right, well, I'm just here to win. And then there's other times when you go to a tournament and you see everyone set up all these display boards and all this stuff, and it just adds to this Warhammer tournament atmosphere that is just so much different than, things that sometimes you see on Reddit, like, oh, toxic competitive, this, that tournaments, and it's just like, guys, there's so much more to events. There's so much more about community and talking to people and meeting new people, seeing wonderful things and playing a game that we all love, right? Yeah. It's something that really should be celebrated. And if you're a tournament organizer and you're watching this, or you're looking to be one, right? Make sure you celebrate the hobby just as much as you celebrate competitiveness, because it helps celebrate casual players, right? People that are just getting into the hobby, right? And some of those people are phenomenal. Like we have Logan from the Bats crew, right? Who I met for the first time at the WCW or West Coast Championships, WCC. Gosh, there's so many like what is this? Wrestling terms, But I met him for the first time and he comes from 40K and I'm like, wow, this guy's a killer, Garrett, have you seen his stuff?
I maybe.
He did some Space Wolf stuff there.
Oh, the Space Wolves at West Coast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were...
They're pretty cool.
They're very cool.
He's coming for us all.
Yeah.
That was an awesome display board. Yeah, that was really, really awesome. That was the one with the dead Marine, dead center, and is that what it was?
I don't remember if he had his display board, if he had one. There was another player there who had a really cool like Marine and in night. And it's so hard to symbolize night or raining or stuff like that.
Never mind. That's the one I'm thinking of. All right.
Yeah, that was a different one. But still, I've just loved seeing the hobby just continually rise every year. Because when we first started, it was just kind of like a couple people in LA, a manual, just going through, crushing everything, and then year 2, Aiden came out of the blue, was able to steal it from Garrett, last year. And then Garrett was like, nah, dude, this is my trophy
taking
now.
It back.
And now Aiden's going to come out with an axe to grind. Maybe he's going to do orcs next. Who knows?
Oh yeah. We're already talking. We're trying to up each other's game. I think, there's a fun challenge in the works for Bay Area, whatever that tournament winds up being called. I think he's going to try to make it up. We'll see.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah, we should have it should be a fun year. I've hit him up for a lot of hints and tips. I want to, shamelessly steal his NMM because it's so freaking good, and I don't have it yet. But yeah, we're chatting. I think it's going to be a fun year for Hobby Track. And there's a guy out of Acadia Fight Club that I got a shout out here named Nick.
Mm-hmm. Nick.
I think he's coming for all of us. I think it's he's an incredible painter, and he's working on his hobby game in a big way. I think he wants it bad. So we'll see.
He keeps hitting me up about some stuff. I'm like, yo, Nick, you're gonna have to come to some more events, my guy. That's number one. You gotta make it. Garrett got lucky. He came to 6. I guarantee you, if you go to 6 next year, you ain't gonna win, Garrett.
No, I mean, honestly, like I don't think I could. And I would be thrilled to not have a chance, because that would mean that the level of hobby at events that I go to is just going to be like elevated to a point where I can then go back into just aspiring, right? Mm-hmm. And that would be awesome. So yeah, come at me all. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next year and being able to make some more stuff myself. Giacomo, I want to see you make a display board,
I'm pretty lazy about those.
Rather than the single one that you've used for the past 2 years,
Specifically for Marines too. Otherwise I don't use it.
See, Giacomo, I'm like, my guy, let me see something. He's like, man, I don't like seeing the same thing over and over and over and over, and I'm just like, Giacomo.
Well, and Dakotah, I mean, we touched on it earlier, but elephant in the room, like your display board was insane. I didn't even see it in person, and I know that was, I think, maybe the best thing anybody put out this year for Kill Team.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, are you going for it?
If I was able to attend more events, it's really difficult. I think I attended 5 events last year, right? I think I didn't do great in one of them. I mean, I could look on the page, not on my page, but yeah, I didn't do great at Dallas because I was working on my display board. So I just had my team. My team wasn't finished. They just had like silver weapons. But I learned, and I was like, yo, I gotta step it up. That's after I found out and then I got a golden ticket. So I was able to go to Worlds. But running like 8 events and then going to 5 more, I might have attended more golden ticket events than anyone in the world last year. I gave out 7, right? And every event I attended gave out a golden ticket, right? So it was a major grind. I don't know if I will necessarily try, because I think a lot of hobby track gets determined at LVO because it is the largest, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I have the time or I'm blessed enough to be able to attend more events, then yeah, sure. I don't really intend on bringing out my massive display board. I might do it for February, going to the, depending if we get a data slate. If we don't get a data slate, I don't know if I want to run Vanguard.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but we're attending. Me and Giacomo are going to be attending a what is it called? We're going to be attending a duos event in Las Vegas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to be bringing hopefully Deathcore, and Giacomo is going to be bringing Kasserkin. I'm going to bring the sweatiest list possible because that's what everyone else is doing. I'm going to bring my leader, 4 gunners, a sniper, and a Vox guy. Giacomo's going to bring a leader, 3 gunners, and a Vox guy.
Oh, this isn't 2 full kill teams. This is 2 half.
Just 2 halves.
Yeah, 2 half kill teams.
Oh, cool.
So we're gonna have 4 plasmas, 2 meltas, 2 grenade launchers, 1 flamer, a sniper, and 2 APL buffers. We're not going to have unlike every other horde, we're not going to have a single expendable model. We're still going to get smashed.
Oh yeah, everything is going to die. It's going to be great.
Oh, that's super fun. I hadn't heard of a format like that before. Right
on. Yeah, so maybe other people will consider going out too, and we'll all raise the level of hobby. I think I have mine right here. It died. I'm going to pull it over here. You can see the shambles that it's in. On the way back from Worlds, it died miserably inside my suitcase.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, it's the downside of giant ones. It's harder to transport.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's actually like the primary limitation on my display boards. Everything is like dimension to fit inside one of those battle foam cases.
Mm-hmm.
It has to fit there. Oh my god, it's so cool.
People have seen it on the channel. The stairs are dead, along with the Tyranid, but it'll resurrect. I'm sure it'll come back to life. But I've mostly retired it because it's been shown to the world, and I think it would be. There we go. I think it would be unfair for me to bring that after it won best display at WCW. I feel like it's earned its retirement. It's earned its place to live on a shelf and not have to be transported across the US. So looking at different other, I got to talk to you to see how you did your wonderful basing and you're able to modulate everything. It definitely looks possibly resin 3D printed, but I have no idea.
The model bases are resin 3D printed. The stuff that it interfaces with on the rest of the board, that's just a bamboo. At minimum layer height. So yeah, just FDM. But
all right.
Yeah.
I have some interesting ideas for Space Marines.
Cool.
So maybe we'll see the Black Templars raise again, or Ultramarines, or Imperial Fists.
Wow, Dakotah on Elites. I don't know where.
I'm not going to enjoy playing them. I'm just doing it for the hobby, to be honest. Or Corsairs, or maybe if something else pops out this year. I definitely want to do some more hobby this year and do some fun stuff. I got to compete with all of the greats like you guys, Ben Campbell. Some of the great painters on the East Coast. I definitely want to. You guys inspire me. I love looking at your guys' stuff. And it's like cheating, I get to look at the small details that everyone gets to do, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. I'm gonna steal that. I like that. Cool. No one's done graffiti yet. Cool. I got you. So
nice.
Yeah. But anyone who's listening, we look forward to seeing some of your guys' great hobby stuff. We're a big hobby channel. We're going to be dropping 4 hobby Highlanders in the next 4 weeks. And then we're going to be recording more in a faster format so that we can drop them a lot more regularly. Hobby Highlanders, where we test a bunch of different paints. I think we have 3 out so far. And it's been quite a while since we've dropped them because my goal is to build momentum. So we've been editing them and we're just going to build momentum with them later on. And then, some painting stuff. Me and G came up with a couple ways to paint new things, power swords, black armor. And the more that we develop, the more we hope to post on the channel. So if you guys enjoy hobby content, you enjoy Kill Team content, you enjoy Warhammer, you enjoy chill homies who like to do stuff, and talk a lot and roll dice and battle reports. We kind of do it all. So don't forget to subscribe or like us on our podcast, and come to some events, because
we like to see
we'd like to meet people. It's crazy, man. Like going to LVO, meeting people from the podcast. They just come up and like this guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, I got you something for you, Dakotah." I'm like, "I don't know who the hell you are. Who are you?" And he's like, "Here's some enchanted blue." I'm like, "Oh, you listen to the podcast, Yeah, it's just so it's so awesome. Fun to meet people that you don't know that know you. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's a chore. It's not a chore. It's a great thing that I love that I get to be rewarded with.
Hell yeah. And y'all are pillars of the community at this point. You're celebrities.
Yeah, we're trying. Garrett, you're going to be a celebrity too, now you're pod famous, YouTube famous,
Yeah, you're on the internet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not for anything infamous either.
How about you, G? Do you have any last shout outs?
Of course, you can join the conversation on Discord or by leaving a comment in the YouTube channels, the YouTube comment section. And of course, like we mentioned earlier, you can watch our other content that's also available on YouTube. That's the Squad Games Entertainment. And you can catch us on our socials, such as Instagram, where we post photos of, things we've done from the events or just cool things happening in our community. And, if you want to support us in another way, we also have Patreon, which is always a good way to support us too, if you're not able to make it to tournaments. And if you try to do even the bare minimum, just hitting like is perfect. And that helps us out in a big way.
How about you, Garrett?
Yeah. So first of all, got to shout out all the local Northern California teams and crews that have helped to make our local scene super strong. So that's Kill Team South Bay, Bats, Cadia Fight Club, and our own local Gobnobs. Got a lot of tournaments across those various scenes. If you want to check in on all the news for all of those groups, KT NorCal is the place to do it. I'll send you guys information so you can drop a link there. Specifically for Gobnobs, that's the Games of Berkeley in Berkeley, California, is where we host our events. We've got an upcoming event in early April. We've also got one late June. The one in late June should be a 5-rounder proper tournament, and we're really
5 rounds in one day.
Wow,
no. 2 days, 2-day 5-round tournament. Yeah,
that'd have been a lot.
We're pretty chill about our tournament timelines. So, but yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, we put a big focus on hobby at those events and on making sure that everybody is going to show up, have a really good time. It's mostly community building is what we're in it for. Really, really great group of folks. And speaking of which, I won't go name by name, but y'all know who you are. Thank you all for being a part of what we do in the Bay Area and Kill Team. So yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I want to shout out there's so many paint brands that I really enjoy, I'm going to shout out Alexander Popov because that's an easy one.
Where's his gummy bears? I haven't seen him in a while.
Dude, I didn't see him either. But I want to shout out there's a sleeper in the crowd, Garrett, that if they ever finish their damn models, they're gonna be a killer. Alex is really, I've only seen a work in progress of his non-metallic metal on some of his Aquilions, and there are some crazy things to look at. Because to be honest, I'm not good at non-metallic metal. I like true metallic metal. I like playing with that kind of stuff. But I'm not the biggest non-metallic metal guy. I definitely look on trying to, up my game on that. But I definitely looking at, the hobby track, and I want to shout out Games Workshop for helping support and give trophies and do something so great for, I think, the future of this game and this community, because we were just 3 people that just loved hobby track, and we just wanted it to be successful and really push it in the scene. But with a company that, makes billions of dollars a year, what they can do for it and really push to their exemplar standards, I'm really looking forward to.
I mean, like this, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that to come out.
Very hefty, weighty support coming from GW these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's one of the coolest. I got one over there, and I tell you, that is my favorite trophy that I've ever received. And I make trophies.
It's pretty cool stuff.
It's super cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to have GW on side for this stuff.
Yeah. And G, you got to get one too.
If I decide to compete, it's, going to tournaments is the thing that slows me
I'm going to drive to your house 15 minutes from me. And we're going to have a talking to. We're going to have a coaching session.
You could just call me.
Yeah. So, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for everyone for listening about the ITC and the winners and people that we want to celebrate for the great things that they have achieved this year. Hopefully you decide to join and play anything competitive next year, even if it's just a singular round event, just to see how it is, right? You're going to play some great events, great games, whether you play Kill Team or whether you play any other game. I hope that you enjoy, and if you don't, you can yell at me. So I give you permission. Or yell at me on, you can write in all capital letters how much you think I'm wrong.
All caps.
Until next time, everyone.
See ya. The Squad Games podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at lestersworkshop.com/squad-games.